1 2 1 2. One, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
No, we're good.
1 2 1 2
Huh?
1 2 1 2 1 2 3. Testing 1 2.
That's good.
One two 1 2.
No, it's not coming.
No, that's what's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's coming through. Yeah, yeah.
1 2.
Okay, so that's good. It's coming through? It's supposed to come through here or through the... I think it's supposed to come through the speakers. Not through here, because they have their own... Yeah, mine to there. Yeah, because we plug it through the snake to go... Yep.
Thank you. You all may be seated. As we begin the 180th commencement of Union Theological Seminary, it is fitting that we hear the words of our beloved professor, Reverend Dr. James Howe Cone. The next words are taken from his forthcoming book, Said I Wasn't Gonna Tell Nobody. To the students and faculty of Union Theological Seminary who challenged and inspired me for nearly half a century, it's hard to tell the truth about yourself. I wasn't a civil rights leader like Martin Luther King Jr. or an artist like James Baldwin. I was a theologian asking, what, if anything, is theology worth in the Black struggle in America? Theology was my trade, all I had to show for nearly 30 years of living.
I had learned as a child to wear a mask, a disguise I had perfected. But my theological voice became clear to me in my gut before I could articulate it with my mind. For most evangelicals, revelation was found in the inerrant scriptures, and one need not look elsewhere. I knew in my gut that God's revelation was found among poor Black folk. Any theology that is indifferent to the theme of God's liberation of the poor is not Christian theology. That was my stand, and on that point, I did not deviate. Union Seminary was a liberal school, well known for supporting outrageous, independent thinking professors. But I knew that when I joined the faculty in 1969, I would be pushing boundaries in a new way.
Theology is not anti-rational, but it is non-rational, transcending the world of rational discourse and pointing to a realm of reality that can only be grasped by means of the imagination. And I was seeing theology in a new key. Union is well known for the diversity of its student body. It makes for a challenging teaching experience, but I love it. There were gays, lesbians, and queers, Blacks and whites, straight women and men, and people of color from many U.S. communities and other countries looking at me. I wanted to speak to everyone. Suffering can separate us, or it can bring us together. It can become a bridge that connects people.
No theologian, past or present, can replace the need to do theology for oneself, as Niebuhr did, as Augustine before him. We must do the same for our time and place while recognizing the limitations not only of what others say, but also what we ourselves say. There is a part of human meaning no one can really explain, but you know it's true. The truth is revealed in what one feels. This is the truth that makes us free. You know deep inside yourself that God created worth in all human beings that nobody can destroy, no matter what they do. Let us hope through God's grace and our struggle together, that we will be able to overcome our prejudices and the hate that separates us, and thereby empower people of all races and faiths to become the one people God created us to be. Dr. Cone, we will use our voice that you so carefully helped us to find until it is so. Ashe.
seated. It is my great pleasure to welcome you officially to Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York's 180th commencement ceremony. What a day. Let me say right off the bat that this is a very powerful class. Not only were your prayers able to change the weather, you did it, you did it, you did it. Even more remarkable, you were able to convince Mike Maloney. It's a wonderful surprise to be out here, and I want to begin with a round of applause for Mike and for the whole facilities team and the chapel team and all the work that went into creating this. is a very special graduation for many reasons, but one of those is this is the first time that Union Seminary's Board of Trustees is joined by the Board of Trustees of the Episcopal Seminary at Union, and I would like to ask both boards to stand together and for the first time be recognized. So each of you here graduating today, you know well that you would not be here but for the work of the prodigious, brilliant teaching and formation of Union's esteemed faculty. Would the faculty please stand and be honored? It is also the case that no one would be here today if it were not for the support of the many loved ones, some of whom are with us and some of them who can't be. But I ask now that the family and friends of the graduates, if you're able, please stand and let us all express our gratitude for your unfailing support. Today, as we sit here in this courtyard, many ancestors and spirits are surrounding us. We recognize the original caretakers of this land, the Lenape people. We acknowledge also the spirits of all who have gone before us, as students and faculty, and especially today we honor the legacy and the ever-powerful presence of the late James Hal Cone, who I am certain is with you today. And last but not least, I now ask the class of 2018, it's the reason we're here, to please stand and be applauded by the gathered community. All right, so let's get on with it. Mr. Dunham, Chair of the Board of the Trustees of the Seminary, we, the Faculty of Union, have the honor this afternoon to present to you and to other members of the board our 68 students who have completed every single requirement for their degrees.
Thank you, President Jones. It is a great honor to serve as the chair of the Board of Trustees and to join with the entire Union community on this day of celebration. On the recommendation of the faculty of the seminary, the trustees have today voted to confer degrees upon members of the class of 2018. Dean Boyce will now present the members of this class.
Thank you, Mr. Dunham. We begin with the candidates who have completed the degree Master of Divinity. Claudia E. Boynton. Suzanne Christine Campisi. Ashley Elizabeth Chambers. Allison S. Dilliard. Katrina Marie Foreman. Hannah Purdue Gallo. Matthew Eric Gasicki in absentia. Juanita R. Haley. Sherry Brooke Holiday Kwan. Alexander Harasamchuk. John Daniel Holloway in absentia. Sean Robert Hutchinson. Medina Ueda Jones. Aisha Keskin Saglam. Corinne Victoria Keeler. Joseph Lagasson Leduc. Megan McPherson. Miranda Brooke Major. Kaylee Jane McAvoy. Ian Carr McPherson. Joseph Leo Nadeo. Lenka Opalena. Alfred Pack III. Madeline Veronica Pantalina. Quantez Presley. Nicole Rena. Solita Alexander Riley. Mark Barnabas Roble. Deanna Catherine Roberts. Marianne Robertson. Ruth Schaffer. Robin C. Stillwater. Petra J. Tomes. Joseph Ivan Tolbert. Xian Yu Wang. Arlene N. Wells. I now ask Reverend Dr. Violet Lee to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Divinity at Union Seminary and Master of Science in Social Work from Columbia University School of Social Work.
Mr. Dunham, President Jones, the following students received the degree of Master of Divinity at Union Seminary and Master of Science in Social Work from Columbia University School of Social Work. Lee Jeremy Britton. Derek Tiberius Jordan. Lorna Althea Woodham.
We continue with candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Sacred Theology, and Master of Philosophy. The graduates in Master of Arts: Sandys Abraham Arthur Jr., Maria Teresa Bento Thomas. James Harrison Brumbaugh. Brandon J. Harrington. Mona Haydar. Janet Oking. Zachary Philip Pierce. Dina Sue Dina Potestio. Rebecca Leah Potts. Joseph Anthony Puma III. Thelma Ranjit Singh. Erica L. Restano. Demo Ripochet. Cassius L. Rudolph. Robert Blair Thompson. Elizabeth White. And now for the degree Master of Sacred Theology, Chong-Young Choi. Charles Mawuter Zwadu. Elizabeth Fort. Claudine J.V. John. Hee-Young Yoon. Wei David Liu. Lama Choi San Lu. Yung Ung Mon. Poonam Rai. And Gregory I.C. Simpson in absentia. Now for the degree Master of Philosophy. Christopher L. Fici in absentia. Aaron Kilo Stouffer in absentia. I ask Professor Ewan Cameron to introduce the joint degree candidates who will receive degrees in cooperation with the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences of Columbia University. Professor Cameron.
Mr. Dunham, President Jones, it is my honor and pleasure to present the names of the following students who have received degrees from Columbia University in the joint program in religion together with Union Theological Seminary. The following are graduates in Master of Arts. They are graduating in absentia, so I ask you to applaud at the end of the group. The graduates are Emily Mattison Churchill, Daniel Ricardo Esparza, Erez Golan, Robert J. Grabowitz, Karen Marie Jensen, Taylor Kungle, Tessa Joanna McGowan, Zara Mehdi, Mehmet Masun Ozalp, Dylan Guy Sheksadre, and Rohini Sridhar Shukla. It is also my pleasure, Mr. Dunham and President Jones, to present the following students in absentia who have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I will announce all five together. The doctors are Hassan Azad, Daniel Manfred Del Nido, Laura Elizabeth McTighe, Cara Danielle Rock Singer, Shana Lisa Sippy.
I now ask my colleagues who have served as advisors for PhD graduates to present their advisee.
Mr. Dunham, President Jones, it is my great pleasure to present Todd Patrick Kennedy, who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The title of his dissertation is To All the Children of Israel, the Formation of the Pentateuch as Scripture. I present to you Dr. Todd Patrick Kennedy.
Mr. Dunham, President Jones, it is my pleasure to present Dwayne Edward Meadows, who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The title of his dissertation is The Martyred Heroines of a Holy Crusade, Martin Luther King Jr., the Movement, and Redemptive Suffering. I present to you Dr. Dwayne Edward Meadows.
Mr. Dunham, President Jones, it is my pleasure to present Amy Elizabeth Maverden, who has fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. The title of her dissertation is The Tree of Life and the Grasp for Power, a metonymic cross-testamental reimagination of Revelation 22 and the Ara Parkis. I present to you Dr. Amy Elizabeth Maverden.
Okay. Now I would like to invite Tony Ann Reynolds, member of the Alumni Council, to address the graduates who have, at this very moment, become alums.
This is a very special honor. Many of your faces I saw as you were discerning seminary with big dreams and special calls, so please, And as I was in service to you in that role, I'm now in service to you as the newly elected member of the Alumni Council. That means that as you leave this place to be transformed by the next place, please reach out. There's a Facebook page. If you don't have my number or my email, come find me. I'll give it to you. This world is going to hand us something that we can't quite imagine, and for better or worse, the only way through it is if we have each other's backs. And the Alumni Council is here to have your back. So please let us know where you are, what you're up to. I love you. I've prayed so fiercely for you all, so fiercely. Congratulations. Please celebrate super big.
It is now our pleasure to announce the prizes and special awards of Union Theological Seminary and of Auburn Seminary. They are awarded by decision of the Union faculty to students who have been nominated for them by their academic fields or by prize committees. Students of all denominations and faith traditions are eligible for all prizes and awards. And you will find the description of each in your program. This year, we will be grouping the awards by categories. As the awardee's name is announced, we ask that they join others in that category on stage to receive the award. First will be the awards from Auburn Seminary by President Catherine Henderson.
Mr. Dunham, President Jones, it's my pleasure to announce the awards presented by Auburn Seminary. Our Maxwell Award awardee spent a year as an exchange student in Argentina, graduated from Oberlin College, has been a volunteer labor organizer, and is seeking ordination in the United Church of Christ. Katrina Foreman. Auburn awards the Robert Wood Lynn Fellowship to an experienced teacher from Oregon who is a gifted facilitator, excellent writer, and highly regarded for her interpersonal sensitivity, Megan McPherson. The Bennett Prize winner was named a fellow in the Behind the Bars program at Columbia University's Center for Justice. A dual degree graduate, she's a grandmother who has held leadership positions at the Osborne Association, Healing Communities, and Education from the Inside Out Coalition. Lorna Woodham. And finally, the Jonathan Neeland awardee is a vocalist with an amazing voice, as well as a wonderful writer who is developing a powerful preaching presence. Mia McLean.
Thank you. And congratulations. We continue now with the awards from Union. Our first category are the awards given by the various academic fields. The Hitchcock Prize in Church History awardee has now completed her third master's degree in Morningside Heights, adding Union to her previous alma maters, Bank Street School and Teachers College. At Union, she is known particularly for her commitment to climate justice. Petra Tomes. The Win Wright Prize for the study of biblical languages is awarded to a graduate of Fordham University who complemented her major in business and economics with 2 years of classical Greek, Erica Restaino. The awardee of the Meilenberg Prize in Biblical Studies came to Union from India via Toronto, where she taught English as a second language. With her enthusiasm for the study of Scripture, we welcome her back to Union next year in the STM program, Thelma Ranjit Singh. Union confers its Interreligious Engagement Prize on a graduate of the University of Pennsylvania School of Engineering and Applied Science with a major in chemical and biomolecular engineering. Here at Union, he completed an outstanding thesis that brought resources from Buddhist practice to Pentecostalism and to Christian traditions more generally. Abraham Arthur. The Daniel Day Williams Fellowship awardee hails from Virginia, is an eloquent writer, plays the cello, has introduced craft beers at Union's pub, and leaves Union to begin a doctoral program at Emory University. Marianne Robertson. And that completes the prizes given by the academic fields. We now move to the awards in preaching, worship, and the arts. The Karen Ziegler Feminist Preaching Prize winner is a poet and creative writer, has worked in public relations, and was a member of Sojourner's year-long intentional Christian community in Washington, D.C., Kaylee McAvoy. The Hudnut awardee is a native of the Dominican Republic, a graduate of the Silberman School of Social Work, and a leader in the Latinx caucus, Alexis Francisco. Union grants the Robert E. Seaver Award to a musician committed to the function of music in social movements, who has spent 2 years as a chapel minister, as a leader of song and maker of all things artistic, Miranda Major. The Frederick Buechner Writing Prize prize winner has a background as an organizer working with children and with communities affected by incarceration. And she receives the prize for her poem, Hood Idyllic. Rosalie German. We move now to the category of leadership in ministry and social justice. The Julius Thompson Hanson Memorial Award winner is a North Carolinian who has a graduate degree in history from St. Louis University and a special gift for ministry with children, Ian McPherson. The Islam Social Justice and Interreligious Prize winner combines her work in nursing with the study of philosophy and religion. She is headed to the U.S. Navy as a chaplain, and her thesis was a design for a workshop on Islamophobia for healthcare professionals. Robin Stillwater. The Malcolm Boyd Veritas Award is presented to 2 Master of Divinity graduates. One majored in journalism and electronic media at the University of Tennessee and is involved in the Carpetbag Theater Company, Joseph Tolbert. We're not done yet. Sharing the award with him is a graduate of Mount Holyoke, whose work as a student life assistant and on the admissions staff has contributed significantly to the Union community. Of course, I speak of Juanita Haley. The Charles Augustus Briggs Prize winner, the second graduate of Oberlin to be among this year's awardees, worked in the admissions office and has dedicated many hours to those incarcerated at the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility for Women, where she will be teaching a course this summer, Hannah Gallo. So, thank you, and congratulations. You will see in your program that we have 2 more awards traditionally called the Second Traveling Fellowship and the First Traveling Fellowship. These are awards for outstanding scholarship. This year, the committee that made the decision on the winners of this award have combined the funds in such a way as to create 3 First Traveling Fellows. So for their exceptional accomplishments in their coursework and in the role they have played in the Union community, we hereby confer the title First Traveling Fellow on, in alphabetical order, Katrina Foreman, Miranda Major, and Ian McPherson.
So it is now our pleasure and great honor this afternoon to declare the posthumous recognition of our beloved faculty member bestowed by the Board of Trustees, granting the Reverend Dr. James Hal Cone the status of Bill and Judith Moyer's Distinguished Professor Emeritus of Systematic Theology.
James Hal Cone galvanized the Union community for 50 years, and his ever-present spirit will rouse and inspire us forever, generation unto generation. Prophet of social justice, renowned founder of Black liberation theology, teacher extraordinaire, beloved mentor, and fierce advocate. He enriched us all through his presence in our hallways and classrooms. He taught us that God is Black. He gave us Black theology and Black power and the cross and the lynching tree, and so many other life-changing books, writings, and teaching. His power, erudition, clarity, and grace are a constant beacon shining forth from this community to the entire world.
So on this occasion of Union's 180th commencement, we express our profound gratitude to James Cone and name him officially Bill and Judith Moyer's Distinguished Professor Emeritus of Systematic Theology. Rest in power, Dr. Cone.
Rest in power.
A reading from the 6th chapter of the prophet Micah. With what shall I come before the Lord and bow myself before God on high? Shall I come before God with burnt offerings or calves a year old? Will the Lord be pleased with 10,000 rams or 1,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? God has told you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? But to do justice and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. The word of the God of all people for all of God's people.
Okay, class of 2018, we're at the end of graduation. You have been graded and educated and honored and celebrated. And so now here at the end, we get to do one last thing, to send you forth with a charge. Union Theological Seminary in the city of New York class of 2018, you stand here today on the shoulders of 180 years of remarkable graduates who have taken up the mighty task of ministry and of leadership. Graduates who have devoted their lives to justly, mercifully, and humbly doing the work of love in the world, revolutionary love. And there are responsibilities that come to you with having the elite, world-renowned union degree that you receive here today. Never, never use it for harm or flaunt it with arrogance, but fully embrace your degrees, empowering recognition of your voice, your gifts, and your rigorous and hard-earned education. In a world where lies pass as fact, use your powers of critical thinking to ask questions and listen gently for truth. In a world where fancy, shiny objects define worth, seek beauty in the ordinary and in the resilience of the vulnerable and the oppressed. And in a world where at every turn grace abounds, open your minds and your hearts always to its unceasing gifts.
To the graduates of Union Theological Seminary's 2018 class, as you are taken up and away from here, this place that you have known for years, some of you 3 years, some of you 2 years, some of you 5, some of you longer. Go in the fullness of the creative and generous Spirit who blows on you and goes before you. Be filled and expanded by her generous and graciousness and abundance. As you do holy justice, be justice. When you are confronted with impossibility, recall that you are the embodiment of possibility. When the way has been blocked, move forward, knowing that you come from a great cloud of witnesses who have made a way out of no way over and over and over again. So you remain faithful to the task of making a way for God's creation. And do this work with fervor, gentle firmness, and uncompromised conviction. Be the sages that this world so needs. Refuse the foolishness that this world so easily creates. For the called ones find the good, just, and merciful way. You have been shown the way. Follow it in all of its outrageousness and dangerousness and no less than truthful hopes.
Friends, you have arrived. With those who have arrived here in the last 180-something years, you have arrived at the end. But your arrival here means that you have to leave again to arrive again. And this process of always arriving, what our precious Buddhist monk and Dharma teacher Thich Nhat Hanh has taught us. So now you're called to go. And never be afraid to live so that you might arrive again. Don't be afraid, for there will always be a blessing for you. And you'll always be a blessing to somebody. There has been a video that's going viral with Professor James Cone just next to our precious Stanley Tyrone Talbert at the Christian Scholars Conference in Tennessee last year. In that video, he spoke about vocation and mentioned the 12th Street riot, known as the bloodiest riot in the long, hot summer of 1967 in Detroit. He said the fire that was burning in Detroit burned in me. I then knew what my calling was. I had to sit myself down and write about it. And write about what I learned in the seminary, but to put in the language for my people. And I started to listen to the blues and the spirituals every day to find my voice. History shows that Professor Cone went on blessing his people profusively, blessing the world immensely, blessing us all enormously. Now, as you leave Union, you also have a special vocation to go where you will go. And as you arrive, the charge is, bless your people. So I charge you as I bless you with the fire that burned in Professor Cone's heart, a blessing of a fire that you had the privilege to receive from him firsthand. I bless you with the fire of Detroit that is still burning all across the world, burning the poor, burning the earth. So may the fire of Professor Cone be a blessing to you always as you leave and as you arrive. May you bless people everywhere you go. May the fire of love, kindness, and justice never cease burning in your heart.
the name of the most merciful and gracious Creator.
Our God, our hope, our refuge, our strength.
Our refuge is in misfortune, our hope in disaster, our friend in desolation, our companion in loneliness, our benefactor and beneficent friend, our helper in time of fear, our guide in time of confusion.
Our God, an ever-present being that speaks to us in a loud and booming voice and in a quiet whisper.
We give thanks that you are the one that is always there for us, answers our prayers, listens to our cries, and blesses us with your unconditional love.
We give thanks for the awesome, sustaining, and liberating power of your Holy Spirit that lives within us and dwells among us.
We give thanks to you for everything we have, for everything we had, and for everything we will have.
Thanks is given to you, Holy One, for this moment of fellowship, community, love, and celebration, for your grace, for your mercy, for the great visions and tremendous dreams planted, nourished, and flourishing in our hearts, in our communities, and in the world. Thank you.
For the bread we need for today.
Feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another.
Forgive us. In times of temptation and test.
Strengthen us. From trials too great to endure.
Spare us. From the grip of all that is evil. Free us.
For you reign in the glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen.
And now comes the conclusion that has been read at this seminary for decades, and the congregation at the end of this has a chance to bless our graduates, so look at your programs. The doors are open and our ways now part. The future stretches out before each of us. You shall go out in joy and be led forth in peace. Mountains and hills shall break into singing before you. Wild trees clap their hands. Pine trees grow where there were only thorns, and myrtles where there were only briars. We honor your achievements and look to you with hope. Let us go forth rejoicing in the power of the Spirit. Thanks be to God.